This is a rare Ethiopian Orthodox Bible manuscript, handwritten in Ethiopia's sacred liturgical language, Ge'ez.
The air in the ancient Ethiopian monastery was thick with secrets, and for centuries what lay within the tattered, fading pages of a forgotten Bible was hidden from the world. But now the veil has been ripped away. What scientists, theologians, and even historians never expected is emerging from this sacred manuscript. Words that could rewrite everything humanity thinks it knows about the resurrection. What Jesus actually said after rising from the dead has been encoded in a way that defies explanation, and the implications are catastrophic for traditional understanding. Every scholar who has dared to touch this text has left shaken, some even in outright terror. What they discovered is not just history, it's a revelation that challenges the very foundations of faith, reality, and what we thought we knew about life itself. Hidden within the Ethiopian text, written in the ancient Ge'ez language, are phrases that do not appear in any other known gospel. These lines are startling in their simplicity, yet devastating in their implications. He spoke not as the world expects, one expert whispered under the weight of disbelief, but as though he knew secrets no human should know. This is not metaphor. This is not allegory. What has been uncovered is direct, unambiguous, and terrifyingly profound. The words suggest that Jesus' message after the resurrection was not about peace, redemption, or forgiveness alone. It was a warning, a command, and an exposition of knowledge that could shatter centuries of religious authority. The hidden text that changes everything. For years, the Ethiopian Bible sat ignored, catalogued among hundreds of other ancient texts, dismissed as an oddity. But when a private researcher began comparing translations, patterns began to emerge. Words and phrases that mirrored nothing else in any other manuscript. It's as if someone had deliberately encoded a message meant only for those who could truly comprehend it. The revelation? Jesus spoke of a timeline, of events yet to unfold, and of truths about human existence that mainstream history refuses to acknowledge. Those who have seen the translation are horrified. It's not just controversial, one linguist admitted, it's revolutionary. This changes everything we thought we understood about the resurrection itself. Even more shocking is the tone. Unlike canonical texts which present Jesus as serene, instructive, and gentle, the Ethiopian Bible depicts a figure who is commanding, urgent, and almost terrifyingly aware of forces beyond mortal comprehension. Words translated from Ge'ez indicate a warning to future generations, a message cloaked in symbolism yet impossible to ignore. It is as though the text itself is alive, pulsing with a sense of imminent revelation, daring the reader to understand its full meaning before it is too late. Scholars report experiencing anxiety, confusion, and a disorienting sense of inevitability when reading these passages. Some even describe a lingering impression of being watched, as though the ancient prophet's presence itself lingers on the page. The implications of these findings are enormous. If Jesus' post-resurrection words were preserved in secret in Ethiopia, deliberately hidden from the world, then what else has been kept from humanity? The document hints at knowledge of hidden dimensions, cosmic forces, and the destiny of humankind in a way that no other gospel even remotely approaches. Researchers who have attempted to cross-reference these lines with the canonical gospels find alarming discrepancies, contradictions so severe that the authority of the traditional texts is suddenly called into question. Every church, every historical record, every lecture on biblical studies suddenly faces an existential challenge. The Ethiopian Bible does not merely complement the known Gospels, it obliterates them, offering a parallel narrative that is as chilling as it is undeniable. Shocking revelations no one dared speak. The most controversial element of this text is its focus on knowledge forbidden to the masses. According to the translation, Jesus' words reveal truths about human consciousness, the nature of reality, and a secret plan for mankind that could change the course of history. This is not simply theological speculation. The language itself suggests practical, actionable instructions for those who can interpret the code. For centuries, these lines were ignored, ridiculed, or deliberately suppressed. Now, however, with modern scanning technology and advanced linguistic analysis, the message can no longer be contained. Experts warn that once fully understood, the implications could destabilize religious institutions, governments, and even societal structures built around centuries-old belief systems. Those who first encountered the text speak of overwhelming unease. One researcher who requested anonymity described the experience. Reading the Ethiopian Bible felt like stepping into a world where time and morality are fluid. The words themselves seem to challenge you, almost daring you to act. You can't read it and remain the same. There's a weight, a responsibility, a terror that comes with understanding its meaning. This is not hyperbole. The document contains references to events, knowledge, and powers that the human mind was never meant to grasp. Yet somehow, through the careful preservation of the Ethiopian scribes, this forbidden knowledge has survived to reach our era. Adding to the mystery is the origin of this specific manuscript. Carbon dating places the text centuries earlier than any known Ethiopian Christian work, suggesting a lineage that predates established Christianity in Africa. Could it be that early Ethiopian communities preserved a version of the gospel that contains the unaltered raw truth of the resurrection? If so, why was it hidden? And why has the world only now glimpsed its contents? Researchers are racing against time, fearing that any leak could trigger controversy, outrage, or even persecution. Already, whispers among scholars speak of deliberate obfuscation, intentional misinterpretation, and secret societies that have monitored access to the text for centuries. This is more than discovery. It is exposure, revelation, and a threat all at once. Even more disturbing is the potential global impact. If Jesus' post-resurrection message is authentic and preserved, it suggests that the foundations of human history, morality, and civilization have been based on an incomplete narrative. The Ethiopian Bible implies that there are hidden forces influencing human destiny, secrets that, if revealed, could shift the balance of power, faith, and understanding worldwide. Some experts describe the text as a roadmap, one that shows a path humanity is not yet ready to follow, warning of dangers that transcend modern comprehension. The words, though centuries old, resonate with immediacy, a sense that the future itself could unravel if ignored. The first part of the message is clear. Jesus' resurrection was not an endpoint. It was a beginning, one that included knowledge and instruction far beyond anything preserved in mainstream texts. Those who dare to explore it are entering a realm where history, theology, and science collide, and where the consequences of understanding may be greater than anyone is willing to acknowledge. The Ethiopian Bible's revelations do not stop at mere words. They erupt into a full-scale confrontation with everything scholars believed about the resurrection. Those who have dared to study the manuscript in depth report a pervasive sense of urgency, a feeling that the text is alive, deliberately directing attention to truths hidden for millennia. Researchers describe a phenomenon where certain passages seem to resonate differently depending on the reader's knowledge, almost as if the manuscript is selectively revealing information. Could this be the work of a divine intelligence, or is it a deliberate code left by ancient scribes who understood forces modern humans cannot yet comprehend? Whatever the explanation, one thing is certain: the contents are disturbing, challenging, and potentially world-altering. The manuscript's post-resurrection passages depict Jesus speaking in ways that are radical and almost alien to traditional theology. Words translated from the original Ge'ez describe concepts of time not as linear but as malleable, suggesting that past, present, and future are accessible through understanding the truth he imparted. In these lines, Jesus reportedly warned that humanity's comprehension of reality is flawed, that perception is limited by collective conditioning, and that only those who seek knowledge beyond dogma can hope to survive what lies ahead. This is not mere spiritual guidance, it is an existential declaration, a call to awaken awareness to forces that have quietly governed human destiny since the beginning. A revelation so dangerous they tried to hide it. Evidence suggests that these passages were deliberately obscured, their meaning layered under complex linguistic structures, metaphors, and wordplay. Scholars attempting to decode them report mental strain, headaches, and a creeping sense of paranoia, as if the text itself were warning them to proceed with caution. One linguist noted, "This is not a document meant for casual reading. It is a living warning, encoded so that only those truly capable of understanding can access its full meaning." The dangers are not hypothetical. Several early historians who examined the manuscript reportedly vanished from records, their work suppressed or destroyed. Could there have been intentional efforts to prevent this knowledge from reaching the broader world? The Ethiopian Bible's content also challenges centuries of theological assumptions. Canonical Gospels depict Jesus primarily as a figure of compassion, teaching forgiveness, love, and moral rectitude. Yet in the Ethiopian text, the resurrected Jesus is depicted as commanding, insistent, and acutely aware of human limitations and cosmic truths. Certain phrases indicate that he spoke of hidden dimensions, unseen entities, and secret knowledge that humans would one day unlock. Knowledge so powerful it could alter civilization itself. Researchers admit that attempting to reconcile these statements with mainstream Gospels feels like reading an entirely different historical account. One expert stated flatly, "If this is genuine, everything we believe about Jesus after his resurrection is incomplete, if not outright false." Adding to the shock, the text suggests that there were witnesses to these words, disciples or followers whose experiences were never recorded elsewhere. These individuals allegedly documented what they saw, yet the mainstream church discarded or suppressed these accounts. In the Ethiopian Bible, Jesus is described not as a singular historical figure interacting in isolated events, but as a being who understood the mechanics of existence itself, capable of transmitting knowledge that defies time, space, and human comprehension. The implications are staggering. If such knowledge was deliberately withheld, it raises the question of why humanity was denied access, and what powers were determined to control the flow of understanding. The secret message of the resurrection. One of the most chilling aspects of the Ethiopian Bible is the explicit instruction Jesus gave about future generations. The text reportedly contains warnings about events that would unfold centuries later, secrets about how humanity would respond to technological, societal, and spiritual upheaval. These are not vague prophecies, they are practical instructions and ethical imperatives, suggesting that his post-resurrection message was a manual for navigating forces that mainstream history either ignored or intentionally erased. Scholars are debating whether the instructions are literal, symbolic, or a combination of both, but the tension in the translation is unmistakable. The manuscript conveys a sense of immediacy, as though its warnings are relevant today, in our era more than ever. Some researchers describe the Ethiopian Bible as having a psychological effect on the reader, a combination of awe and terror. They report moments where the text seems to shift subtly, as if responding to their attention. These experiences are not universal, but they suggest an unprecedented interaction between the manuscript and the consciousness of those who read it. Could it be that the scribes encoded a type of sentience into the text? Or is this a byproduct of the language's extraordinary precision and depth? Whatever the cause, it has kept the document shrouded in mystery for centuries, and it is only now, with modern tools and translations, that the full horror and brilliance of its contents are becoming clear. The implications for modern religion, philosophy, and even science are staggering. If Jesus truly imparted knowledge after rising from the dead that has been suppressed or hidden, then centuries of belief, doctrine, and interpretation may rest on incomplete understanding. Governments, religious institutions, and global authorities would be forced to confront a truth that could destabilize centuries of accepted wisdom. Already, whispers in academic circles speak of documents being removed from libraries, private collections being locked away, and entire research teams being pressured to abandon their work. Some fear that the world is not ready for this revelation, that the knowledge contained in the Ethiopian Bible is too disruptive, too explosive, to be unleashed without consequence. The language of the text itself hints at an urgency that is impossible to ignore. Jesus' words reportedly urge readers to act, to understand, and to awaken before forces beyond human comprehension make decisions for them. The passages describe a reality where ignorance is dangerous, where the unprepared are vulnerable to forces that manipulate destiny in ways invisible to the average human eye. Scholars have begun to speculate that this knowledge, preserved in Ethiopia for centuries, was meant to survive precisely until humanity reached a point of technological and intellectual maturity sufficient to comprehend it. But the question remains, are we truly ready? Perhaps the most terrifying element is that the Ethiopian Bible does not simply challenge religious orthodoxy, it challenges reality itself. The manuscript implies that the resurrection was not a singular historical event, but a demonstration of principles that govern life, death, and consciousness, principles that mainstream humanity has never fully grasped. Reading the text, it becomes clear that Jesus' words were not meant to comfort. They were meant to alert, to awaken, and to prepare a world that might otherwise stumble blindly into chaos. Those who have attempted to study it in depth describe a mixture of awe, fear, and reverent panic, as though confronting the unknown in a way no human was ever meant to confront. The Ethiopian Bible has revealed truths long hidden, words that could rewrite everything we thought we knew. Are we ready to face what Jesus truly said after rising? The answers lie in the shadows, waiting, and what comes next may change everything forever.